Before you proceed into the video, I suggest that you pause here and go get a pencil and piece of paper. You're going to need it to take notes and some diagrams. Now, before I get into the chart, I want to talk about it for a minute. I'll look at your sun sign, which is solar astrology, and I'll also look at your moon sign, which is lunar or eastern astrology. But I'm going to do the chart from the middle pillar, or from the perspective of Saturn. Saturn rules astrology in Aquarius, so the zodiac belongs to Saturn. Saturn does everything in 30-year increments. So when I look at your natal chart in the natal position, you're really looking at the first 30 years of your life. You will always be the sun sign that you are. I call that your inner child. You're always able to go back and grab that inner child. But we grow and we change. And those changes show in our Saturn returns. And we take on different personality traits. So as I do the beginning part of the chart, we're really looking at you as what I call a 15-year-old. By 15, you're halfway through your first Saturn period, and your personality has developed. So keep that in mind as we begin the chart. I like to start from the very beginning. That way, if you have not already done so, you can look below this video in the description box, and you'll find a link for this program, Stellarium. It's free. I encourage you to download it and to play with your own chart and do other people's charts. It will help you to understand your own. It's what I call carrying your cross. All right, when you first launched Stellarium, launch this bottom taskbar coming from the right to the left. We're going to come across to this symbol. It's your meteor showers. We're going to turn that one off. In the next set of symbols, you're going to see a lightning bolt. We're going to turn that one on. Then we're going to come across to the sun peeking out behind the clouds. That's your atmosphere, cardinal points, and landscape. We're going to turn all three of these off. In the last set of symbols, you'll see a little running man icon. That's your images. We're going to turn that one on. Then we're going to launch the left-hand taskbar and go all the way to the top. An 8-pointed star is a symbol of navigation, and it's ruled by Mercury. In the search tab, our target city is San Bernardino. And it just pops right up in the chart. Click on it. Make sure the red arrow is in the correct place. Come back down to the little running man icon and make sure the correct name of the city is over his head. Then we can X this box out. Coming back to the left-hand taskbar right below the star of the clock icon, our target date is January the 12th, 1960. We're just going to scroll back. Just hold down the little tab and it'll take it back for you. And January, just go up one. Have to pull that one back down. And the 12th, the last day of Sagittarius. Our target time is 5:12 p.m. That's going to be 1712. I'm going to put it at 1711 and let it clock over to 1712. And as you can see, your sun sign and lunar astrology and Saturnalian or alchemical astrology is Sagittarius. In Western astrology, your sun sign would have been Capricorn. So you have been double-crossed. Okay, you got double-crossed. Your sun sign is Sagittarius. Your ruling planet is Jupiter. Jupiter's house of ideology. So you are ruled by one, your ideology, and Jupiter ruling desire. So you're ruled by your desires. We're just going to take a quick peek where everybody's at. You have Saturn and Mercury in your first house of Sagittarius. You have Mars also in Sagittarius. You can look over here at IAU constellation. You have Jupiter and Venus in Mars's house of water, Scorpio. Kind of bunched up there. You have Uranus in, is it Leo? Leo. You're also probably going to have Pluto here in Leo as well. The moon all by itself in Gemini. When the moon is by itself like this with no other planets around, that's generally what I call an only child or a lonely child. A lot of times it'll end up being the middle child. The older child has all the authority and privilege. The younger children get all the attention, and the middle child just kind of gets set aside. Nobody pays attention to you. You're either the lonely child or the only child, kind of showing an introvert because it's opposite your sun sign. You're both on the mutable cross. I want to take something real quick and say about the mutable cross. The planets that fall on the mutable cross in your natal chart or in your Saturn returns, that's where you can expect the change or the transmutation to occur in your life. Okay, so you've got the sun and the moon opposite each other. So while you're have this fiery disposition, it's not what you show people. This is what people see, which is Mercury's house of hermetics, which is where we get the word hermit from. So playing a strong introvert here. You're all bottled up inside. You don't let people see the real you, which is really opposite. Now, let's pull this back to the birth minute, which is 12. And let's come back down to the bottom and turn on the landscape and the cardinal points. And then we're going to come right below the clock to the little rectangle with the astrological symbols. And we're going to hit landscape and go to 0 horizon. Then we go find the east. And in the east, let's pull this star here, which is Gemini. So your rising sign and your moon sign are the same. You are Gemini rising. You can go around the entire horizon and find the stars that are on the horizon all the way around it. You have one in Lupus, which is also part of Taurus here, but it's Arsh al-Jahura, and we can come over here to Star Lore and see if we can go in the Arabic and get a translation, which no, they've scrubbed it, no translation there. A lot of them you can. You can even look it up online and find out the name of that, and it'll actually play a part in your chart. The stars that are on the horizon, regardless of whether they are. You've got another one here that's part of the flock in the next age, Al-Nair, which is the flock. But any prominent stars on the horizon will all play a part for you. Got one in Hercules. But your rising sign and your moon sign are the same. Alright, let's dump this off. Get right into the chart. I like to start with the outer planets. So we're going to start with Pluto. Let me get my pen ready so I can take notes here myself. You have Pluto and Uranus, both in Leo. There's only a small window where you have Pluto and Uranus in the same house at the same time. Both of them are very slow. It takes Pluto almost 200 years to go around the wheel. So for these two to end up together is very rare. Now when you talk about Pluto, you're talking about the subconscious mind. And when you talk about Uranus, you're talking about the conscious mind. So it's rare that you have this generation that the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are the same. They're in the same house. They're on the fixed cross, so they're stable. They're fixed. And it's just this rare window, like from I think it starts in 1959 and it goes to like 1970. and it bleeds over into Pluto and Virgo. Now, when we talk about the outer planets in alchemy, one, they're not connected to your chakras, and they do not rule any houses of the zodiac. Like I said, they take too long to go around. It would be ridiculous to look at them that way. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are beyond Saturn. They're past Saturn, so they're past your crown chakra. Pluto is the subconscious mind, and he works in the etheric world with Saturn. Uranus is your conscious mind, and he works in the physical world with Jupiter. But Neptune, between the two, is the imagination, and he works in both worlds. Pluto speaks in symbolism, and Uranus speaks in language. But Neptune, the imagination, speaks in both symbolism and language. I don't know what she's growling at. I'm going to pause here. Sorry about that. I kind of lose my train of thoughts. If I'm repetitive here, please excuse me. Pluto speaking in symbolism and Uranus speaking in language. Now, let's see if Pluto is retrograde. We're going to come over here to the logistics, and you're going to see ecliptic, longitude, latitude, with J2000.0 in parentheses. These are the numbers we're going to be watching throughout the video. Our numbers are 156, 24535. We're going to watch the 24535, and we're going to kick it up a day. And those numbers decreased. So you have a Pluto retrograde. And like I said, the outer planets are not connected to your chakras, so this can actually benefit you retrograde. And you win arguments you do not deserve to win. Whether you outwin your opponent or you're just clever, you win arguments you don't deserve to win. Now, let's check. Being as they're together, I'm going to go ahead and check Uranus for the retrograde as well. And the numbers we're watching are 41236. Another retrograde. So you have a double retrograde. Now this one, you're overly rebellious. And it's good to know, to be rebellious, to be able to have, especially as a child, to be able to say no. That can benefit us a lot. But this can also be dangerous. Remember, everything in duality here. So when we're talking Pluto and Uranus, you have them both on the fixed cross and in a fire sign. And that's when they're going to affect you. That's when the alchemy will occur for you in your life. These are individual markers, but they're also generational markers. So you will deal with both of these planets on the fixed cross and in a fire sign. Currently, Pluto is in the fire of your first house, ideology. And what these planets do is when they come into a sign, they're going to take away something so that you can get something new. And in this case, ideology. I like to reference it to Santa Claus. It's like growing up and believing in Santa Claus, and say you start school and the bully tells you Santa's not real, and he rips that rug out from under you. Then you go home and ask Mom and Dad, Santa's not real? Well, who's bringing the presents? Well, who's bringing the presents? Well, why did you lie to me? That kind of thing. It's a paradigm shift. It's time to grow up now. Santa Claus is not real. And that's what Pluto is doing here. He's taking away old beliefs and old ideologies to replace them with something new. Uranus is doing the same thing for you in fire also. So Uranus is currently in cardinal fire of Aries, and that's the fire of purification. This is the time to clean up your mind. Clean up what you put into your head. Stop watching fear porn. Stop watching porn. Stop putting filth into your mind. Put good, wholesome, healthy soul words or soul images or soul food into your mind. Now, both of these are in play for you, so it's something you have to do. Now, Pluto is fixing to leave Sagittarius and go into Capricorn. And when that happens, it can be very dangerous, because when they first come into the sign, you have the choice. You get to decide the who, what, where, when, why, and how this alchemy gets done. And they give you plenty of time to do it. Years. They're literally very, very slow and subtle. But when they leave the sign, if you haven't done that alchemy, they're going to do it for you. And in a fire sign, it can be dangerous. They can burn your house to the ground. They'll take from you whatever they have to take to cause that paradigm shift, to cause that alchemy to occur. So Pluto is not only in play for you, it's fixing to leave the sign. In an earth sign, it can be like an earthquake. Air sign, like a tornado or a hurricane. A water sign, it can be like a flood. And they can, if it's not huge alchemy, they'll take a little bit. But everything's on the table, including the people in your life, not just things. You can get really bad news right here, because this is ideology and philosophy. So it's not like they can take things from you. These are about ideas. So you could get really bad news if you haven't done this alchemy here. Now, as far as Uranus goes, you've got a few more years to 2024 when Uranus moves into Taurus, which is on the fixed cross, which is also going to affect you. So Uranus, your conscious mind, is far more in play for you than Pluto. Your Pluto alchemy is fixing to be done for your lifetime. But your Uranus alchemy is in play for about the next 10 years, for about 10 years, to about 2029 to 2030. After Uranus leaves and comes into Taurus, the alchemy and change here is going to be about investments for long term, the end of your life, retirement, and how you use money, how you save it, how you spend it, how you think about it. So all that's got to change starting in 2024. But right now, it's about the conscious mind. All right, let's move to Neptune. Neptune in Libra, I'm hoping. Yes, Neptune in Libra. This is interesting. Is Neptune retrograde? Our numbers are 28384. No, not retrograde. Libra is about the occult hidden wisdom of the heavens. Now, in the early 60s, literally the year you were born, end of 59, beginning into 60, is right when Neptune came into Libra. And the mystery schools were supposed to give this occult hidden wisdom of the heavens to us. And what they did was, instead of releasing this information, they gave us a one-liner in the newspaper, and they called it a horoscope instead of an astrocast. And they put everybody in Western astrology, which ended up double-crossing 23 out of 30 people. You're being in that group of the double cross. You're carrying a cardinal cross of Capricorn, and you're carrying a mutable cross of Sagittarius. So you've been double-crossed. Now, Neptune's alchemy is different. Neptune is the most unique of them all. To me, my favorite, because he's the imagination. He speaks symbolism with the subconscious mind, and he speaks language with the conscious mind. He's like the go-between. His alchemy is quite unique too. When you have Neptune on the same cross or in the same element with Saturn, you can have these really great creative ideas that just pop into your imagination. Ideas that can change your life and even the world. But the thing is, you're supposed to work on these ideas. And as Neptune begins to move and you work on these ideas, when he comes on the same cross or in the same element with Jupiter, then those ideas begin to manifest into the physical world. Unfortunately, These alignments can take years and even decades to occur. Now, there are those times where we find Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune all on the same cross or all in the same element somewhere. Then it goes from years and decades to just weeks and months while they're in those respective houses. And then there are those very unique times in our lives where we find Saturn, Jupiter, and Neptune all on the same cross, all at the same time. Then the manifestation is almost instantaneous. Like on the winter solstice, we're going to have the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, but with Pluto on the winter solstice. So when Saturn and Jupiter meet, the door to the Black Lodge opens, and that is the subconscious, the collective subconscious. So we're going to be manifesting from the subconscious. If Neptune were there, we would be manifesting from the imagination. If it were Uranus there, we would be manifesting from the subconscious mind. Now, what's fortunate about you is, one, your Pluto alchemy's finished here. You hand the baton off to that Pluto and Virgo generation, and they manifest here. It's their time of visitation. But you're lucky enough to have Neptune on the cardinal cross, which is going to aspect this Capricorn on the cardinal cross. So you do have the possibility of manifesting your daydreams, Neptune, come the winter solstice. If the rest of your alchemy's done, you actually have the ability, because you've finished your Pluto alchemy, to move that from the subconscious to the imagination. Now, Neptune has another job, but we'll get back to that momentarily. I've done the outer planets, so I'm going to move straight to the inner planets. We don't have to look at the logistics with the inner planets. They move so quickly. All we have to do is kick it up a day, and we can see that Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus are not retrograde. Very lucky there that you have no inner planet retrograde with these three. Now, your Mercury is within 10 degrees of your Sun, so that's considered combust. You can still kind of see him. He's not completely overwhelmed here. He is in a different decan, but to have your house of communication in your first house combust of the Sun is you have a very philosophical speech, but in your childhood, you were not allowed to say what you wanted to say. You're being oppressed from an outside source. You're told you can't say that. This is somebody as a child who, if you say something, you might get hit in the mouth and told to shut up. You're just told to sit down and shut up here as a child. You're not allowed to speak what you think, but still in a good position for him. And thankfully, he's not retrograde. Now, Venus in Mars's house. Venus actually likes being here, especially with Jupiter here with her. This is your heart. Scorpio is about the people you choose in your life. This is about your friends. So you don't have anything in Cancer, which is about your family, but you have quite a bit. You have your ruling planet and your heart, both in the house of people you choose in your life. So it's what I call, you're going to get a little help from your friends. When you get in trouble, or you don't look to family, you look to your friends to bail you out, right here and right here. Jupiter as well, playing the same card. Remember, Jupiter's your ruling planet, and he's your desires. And you desire a strong bonding friendship, and that requires loyalty. Now, the lesson of Scorpio in friendship is, one, you keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. We can talk about both of these just like that. They're both doing the same thing. Your heart and your desires are in the house of friendship. Now, Ophiuchus is Hercules. Hercules finds out halfway through the movie that the king he's working for, his best friend, the king he's fighting for, is actually using him and setting him up for the fall. He has to figure out a way to save the day, rescue the damsel in distress, not get killed, and not let the bad king remain in power. In the Vedic, this is Vishnu. Vishnu goes through the 12 trials, or the 12 houses of the zodiac, which is the same thing Hercules does, and he's ready to go to heaven, and angels tell him, "Great job, Vishnu. Come on into heaven, but you can't bring your dog." And he's like, "Wait a minute. I've lost everything, my family, my fortune, my friends. My only loyal companion has been my dog, and he's been through all of this with me. So if he can't go, I don't want to go." And they're like, "Well done, Vishnu. You and your dog can both enter." It's that final test of loyalty. It's a test, and it's about loyalty. So here it's about friendship, keeping your friends close, but your enemies closer, and knowing that it's all about loyalty. Loyalty of the heart. So Jupiter, actually talking about it, let's see if he's retrograde. We have to look. 53232. No, not retrograde. So you think in a linear fashion, your desires, your heart, all that tied up in the house of friendship, the people you choose in your life, your lovers, people you tell secrets to and are intimate with. Mars, your emotions and your actions. Sagittarius is a humanitarian planet. Tends to be very creative, musically inclined people, a good ear for music anyway. So Mars is your actions here. So remember, everything on the mutable cross is up for change. So that means Mercury, your communications, your logic, your intellect, your reason, and your emotions and your actions. When Mars is on the mutable cross, he's unstable. And here it's a masculine unstable, which is better than the feminine axis of that Pisces Virgo. A lot of times they'll call it bipolar. You can become melancholy here because there seems to be no middle ground. On the mutable cross, you're either really happy or you're really sad, and there's no middle ground there. So it comes off as like bipolar. Emotionally unstable. That's exactly what you would call it. To where your heart is fixed. It's on the fixed cross. Very stable. Your Jupiter fixed on that fixed cross. Not so with your Mercury and Mars. So you have who you are, your Saturn, which is your lesson. Wherever Saturn is in your natal chart, that's your lesson. Your Mercury, your Mars, and the way other people see you, your moon, all that's going to change in the first 30 years of your life. Probably after you hit 15 and you start to move into young adulthood, those changes will start manifesting a lot more than they will when you're younger. And we'll take a look at that change in your first Saturn return. Now about Saturn. Right off the bat, we want to know, is he retrograde? Our numbers are 281, 26246. We're going to watch the 26246. Not retrograde. That's good news. So wherever Saturn is in your natal chart, that's your lesson. It's not your purpose, but it prepares you for your purpose. And the lesson here is one of ideology and philosophy. So I always suggest you got to know the classics. You're somebody that needs to know Pythagoras and the great Greek thinkers. Let me pause for a second. Sorry, I'm just really thirsty. Saturn, great Greek thinkers. Plato, Socrates, Herodotus, all these great philosophers of the Greek Western tradition. And then you have today's philosophers, which are like Descartes and Freud, Jung, Nietzsche, all of that. But when you talk about the old and the modern, you're still just looking at the solar and the lunar pillar. But when you look at it from Saturn's point of view, around the world, every tribe was given a holy man or a shaman, and every tribe was given a plant. Like in Europe, you have Amanita muscaria. In India, you have the psilocybin mushroom. In the Orient, you have the poppy plant. In South America, you have ayahuasca. In Africa, you have ibogaine and the dream bean. The northern Indians, some had peyote, some had marijuana, and some had tobacco. Every tribe got a plant. And the holy man took that plant, the shaman, which is what Sagittarius is. He's the sage of Terra. He's the shaman, the holy man. And he would take the plant, which would connect him with his DNA ancestors so they could get what they needed. Now, it's like Europeans going to South America and doing ayahuasca and seeing the serpent people. That's not your ancestors. You're not going to get a good message. You're going to have what they call a bad trip. So what you need to do is, one, find out your ancestry and your genetic DNA. And then you do the plant that goes with your people. And then it connects you to your DNA ancestors, and you get visions and enlightenment, which is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the fire in the mind. It's the enlightened mind. It's the illuminated ones. It's philosophy and ideology. So, and just like astrology, I suggest looking at the solar, looking at the lunar, and then finding that middle pillar. The same with philosophy. You look at the old Greek thinkers. You look at the modern day thinkers. But do not ever dismiss the shamans of this world. That's that middle pillar. That's that third perspective that really helps you understand the other two. When you stand on that middle pillar, you're going to get a better perspective as the observer of what solar astrology really is, or what lunar astrology really is, of what the ancient Greeks really thought, and then your modern thinkers. And you get a completely different perspective. Now, I don't suggest everybody run out and do mushrooms by any means, but if you can at least, today we have the advantage that we can literally go on YouTube and we can watch videos of people who have done this, and we can look at it vicariously through their eyes. So it's not something we have to do physically, but you should at least reach out and learn that. It's so dominant in your chart. But to have that understanding or wisdom of the shaman would really benefit you. Now, you've already been through your first and second Saturn returns. They've already come and gone. But we kind of have a way of stumbling into this information, whether we completed it or not, whether we knew about it or not. Now, you're going to get some help. Saturn just don't leave you hanging. He's always going to offer help. And that's Neptune. I told you we're coming back here. Wherever Neptune is, the lesson of that house helps you with what Saturn needs you to learn. So to help you understand philosophy and ideology, the illuminated mind, is going to be Libra, which is the occult hidden wisdom of the heavens. Now it's time for you to start writing down, because I've done a video called Fiery Serpent on the Pole. Go look that up and watch it. It's going to teach you about Libra. Libra is the most controversial of all the constellations, because it is the hidden wisdom of the heavens. Now, back when the slaves in Africa, the Hebrew slaves, that's the flock, the Pleiades, when they left Africa, Taurus, and came into Asia, Aries, they complained to Moses and told him They had been bitten by the serpents of Egypt, and Moses told them to be healed from the serpent bites of Egypt. They had to look up to the bronze serpent, or the fiery serpent on the pole, Libra. To learn the hidden wisdom of the heavens would cure them from the knowledge of Egypt. They would understand it better and be free from the bondage of it. Now, you will find this information about this hidden wisdom right over here, below the clock in Star Lore. And that's going through the zodiac in all the different traditions, learning the names of the stars and what they translate to. And it teaches you each house of the zodiac. And every different zodiac around the world taught something different. Like Aries in Asia, theirs was about math and geometry. But when you move into the Greeks, all the names of the stars are about biology and science. They tell you the different parts of the brain, and these are the names of the stars. In Arabic, the names of the stars tell us about the king. And literally, our New Testament should be translated from Arabic, not from Greek. It actually tells you who the Lamb is, who the Star of Bethlehem is. Not from the Greek, but from the Arabic. So to learn that star lore is to learn the hidden wisdom of the heavens. Now, another place you can find this information, let me get back here, is in Central and South America. Scorpio and Libra were one sign. Scorpio was a great eagle with the serpent in his claws. We get the Scorpio itself from the Persian, but in the Arabic, there is no Libra. It's not even there. They just draw that in to fill in the blanks. Again, fiery serpent on the pole will explain all of that to you, how they kept putting that information in and then taking it out, because it is the hidden wisdom of the heavens. Now, today you will find the symbol of the eagle with the serpent in its claws as the flag of Mexico. And that's exactly where you'll find all this information. The temple of the sun and the moon in Teotihuacan. Well, all the other temples are there too. They're just not telling you about it. It's all hidden in the imagery and the architecture of Central and South America. And that will help you with the philosophy and ideology lesson of Saturn being in Sagittarius, which will bring us to our first Saturn return. What is a Saturn return? Saturn comes around every 30 years in our chart. Christ, or Jesus, started his ministry at 30 years old. That's his first Saturn return. It's a rite of passage. It's the true age of accountability. It's an initiation right into the mysteries. It's the time in your life when your parents are no longer taking care of you. For that matter, you're supposed to switch roles with them, and now it's your turn to begin taking care of them as they start to grow into old age. So in a minute, we're going to go take a look at that. But first, we're going to put all of your planets on the paths and the cross of Kabbalah and Freemasonry. Let me get me some notes here. I'll just pause it so it'll save time in the video. Alright, on your pencil and paper, get my little pen out. What we're going to do is we're going to make a line here, a line here, one here, and one here. In Freemasonry, this is going to be the sun pillar. I'm just going to put it right where the sun is. This is the sun pillar. And Kabbalah, it's called severity. And then we have the moon pillar. And in Kabbalah, it's called mercy. And then in Freemasonry, you have the ladder at the top and the checkerboard, what I call the checkerboard floor at the bottom. Right? And on the checkerboard floor, you have, at the door, you have the entered apprentice, Virgo. Then you have the altar, Taurus. And then you have Capricorn. They are the earth signs. On the ladder, you have Gemini at the bottom, you have Aquarius in the middle, and you have Libra at the top. On the sun pillar, you have Mars at the top, the sun in the center, and Jupiter at the bottom. On the moon pillar, you have the moon on the top, you have Scorpio in the middle, and you have Jupiter on the bottom. So you have the sun, Mercury, Saturn, and Mars all in Sagittarius, which is mutable fire right here at the bottom of the solar pillar. So they're all in severity. So that means no mercy, no grace. It's not going to be easy. It's what I call the hard road, the hard lesson right here. Now you have Jupiter and Venus in fixed water, which is right here. So you'll have mercy with Jupiter and Venus. They're both benevolent to you, and they're both fixed, and they're on the mercy pillar. Now you have the moon in Gemini, which is right here. So you have your moon the way other people see you, on that middle path, that straight and narrow. He's on the ladder. And then you have Uranus and Pluto are both in Leo over here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 planets in severity. You have 2 planets in mercy. And then you have Neptune. Your imagination is at the top. Your imagination has already made it to the top of the ladder. So that concept is already within you at your imagination. But all you have on the center path is your Neptune and your moon. Everything else is in the battle of fire and ice. Okay? We're going to do this same thing again in your first Saturn return and your second Saturn return, so you can see the changes. Okay? Now, keeping all this in mind, let's erase this. Let's bring our time back to, go back, 5/12, 1712. And we're going to click on Saturn. And then we're going to write down, let me get these where I can see them. We got to write down the numbers. And they are 281.26, 0.18.2. We're going to take Saturn 30 years into the future, right back to this spot, and find out what your purpose is and how much you've changed. Remember, you're always going to be that shaman. You're always going to be the sage. That's your inner child, and you can go grab that anytime you need it. But we're going to see how you advance through your chart. Off we go. Let me move the sun out so I can see these numbers better. Let me pull it there. We need to come to Sagittarius 281. $81, 2618. $18.2. All right. February the 23rd, 1989 at 7:56 in the morning. Mercury in Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn. The Sun in Aquarius, almost conjunct Fomalhaut. Mars in Aries in his own house. Jupiter being very benevolent in Taurus for you. And there's that moon all by itself again. You're definitely the introvert. It's in the house of the damsel in distress, what I call Cinderella, the Cinderella story. Interesting. So you've taken on the personality of Aquarius. This is the Christ. Christ said, "No man takes my life. I lay it down." This is the self-martyr. I'm just going to cut to the chase and tell you the lesson. And the lesson of the self-martyr is nobody did this to you but you. Nobody did this to you but you. Venus and Mercury both love being in Capricorn. Venus, Mercury, and Saturn rule all air and earth signs. And this is cardinal earth. So they're very disciplined. This is the house of, let me talk about Saturn in both of its houses here. Like I said, Aquarius is the self-martyr. And it's no man took my life. I lay it down. That's the one who gives himself for the whosoever. And Capricorn is about government, education, military, fireman, policeman, post office. I even put waitress in here because it's the one who serves the many. Both of them are about service to others, not self. Service to others. Capricorn is very patient and very disciplined. This is somebody you will choose your words carefully. You will choose your words very carefully. Your heart it's beyond stable. It's cardinal. When you talk about the three crosses, the mutable cross is the adept. The fixed cross is the master. But that cardinal cross is the grand master. So kudos on that Mercury and Venus. Are they retrograde? No. Great job. Great job there. Mars, are you retrograde? No. Thank goodness, neither's Jupiter. Mars in his own house of purification. This is going to require balance. And the balance that it requires is Capricorn, and you got it. It is your heart that will balance your emotions. You're no longer unstable. You're no longer this bipolar. It's now cardinal. You've literally just bypassed the fixed cross, and you've moved these from the mutable straight to the cardinal, from the adept to the grand master. Now, the only thing bad about this is, remember duality, because it's cardinal, but if it's not balanced with your heart, if you remove your heart from this equation, this can be very destructive. You could be emotionally violent in a very fiery, ragey way. So always keep that heart in Capricorn there. If you become emotionally out of control, just reach into that heart, and that's where you're going to find that balance you need. Now, Jupiter, your desires, right, and is in the house of Taurus. And he's very benevolent here. He's fixed. He's still on the fixed cross. As a matter of fact, he's opposite where he was in your natal chart. Both still on that feminine axis of the fixed cross. Very benevolent. This is the right hand of the Messiah. And he's conjunct the Pleiades, which is the flock in the Egyptian. Great placement for both of those, really. As long as you can keep that Mars under control. Again, you're this introvert. You're not showing anybody who you are. Nobody. You're the self-sacrificing one. But people see you as the damsel in distress. Spica is the undefended one. The maiden, the undefended one. So remember, the lesson here is nobody's coming to rescue you but you. Because nobody done this to you but you. It's the choices we've made. And you done it willingly. Venus, lovingly. Okay, this is actually very, very good. I'm going to pause this and take my notes so I don't take up too much time here. Alright, we're going to do the same thing we just done. We're going to do the sun pillar, the moon pillar, oops, moon pillar. We're going to do the ladder and the checkerboard floor. And I'm just going to do the circles this time. You have Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, mutable waters, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So, you have the sun in Aquarius. That's right here. So you've moved your sun to the middle pillar. You have Capricorn. You have Venus and Mercury right here. So you've Venus and Mercury, the sun. You have Uranus and Neptune in Sagittarius. So your conscious mind and your imagination are still in severity, but they've moved on that middle pillar with Saturn. So you have Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, which spells sun, actually. Interesting. You have Mars in Aries. So you have Mars at the top up here. You have Jupiter in Taurus, so you have your Jupiter here in the middle path now. You have your moon in Virgo, so your moon's on the middle path now. And you have Pluto in Libra, so now you have Pluto over here. You don't have anything in Mercy, but you have your conscious mind, your imagination, and the way other people see you are still in severity. But you've moved everything else to that middle path. Look at the growth you've accomplished in just this 30 years. Now, let's take all this away and let's find out why you're here. And that is Neptune, which we already know is in Sagittarius, conjunct your Saturn. If this is not what I call a 1, 2, 3, your lesson and your purpose are the same. And that's here. You're here to be illuminated. You're here to enlighten your mind. That's why you came to this lifetime, was for illumination. So at this point, if you were younger, this is somebody I would definitely tell, yep, you don't need to just watch it vicariously on YouTube. You need to do your DNA research, find out your ancestors, and delve into that shaman tradition. You're the shaman. You're just born for it. It's your lesson and it's your purpose. And it's such a purpose that it conjuncted Saturn. They've played off each other. The only help you will get is that hidden wisdom of the heavens, which is going to teach you what I just told you. You can find that information in the architecture of Central and South America, and you can find it in star lore over here, in the star lore. Otherwise, you're here to be illuminated. So that's learning the Freud, the Nietzsche, the Descartes, the Jung, all the modern. That's going through the Plato and the Socrates and all the great Greek thinkers. But it's more so about the shaman and their traditions. So look into your heritage, find out the traditions of your people, and enlighten your mind. That's why you came here. I honestly thought it was going to be about service to others, because you had all this service over here. Service to others. Well, no, you didn't come here for them. You came here for you, to enlighten your being, to illuminate your mind. Now, because Saturn rules Aquarius, which is astrology and alchemy. And in alchemy, there's only one law. When we were in Aries, we had the law of fire, which were the 10 Commandments. And then we came out from under the law and we moved into Pisces, which is I believe. So it's about faith and mercy and grace. It's I believe. It's about faith and mercy. But when you move into Aquarius, that's about knowing. And under alchemy, there's one law, and it's the law of equivalent exchange. You reap what you sow. Karma. It's about karma, right? So karma has a payoff, right? You reap what you sow. There's a payoff to that. And Saturn rules it, and there's only 2 answers. Saturn's only got 2 answers. And one of them is, depart from me. I never knew you. And the other one is, well done, good and faithful servant. You can spend your golden years in my golden age. So let's go find out how you do. Do you graduate? All right, let me get my pages right. We're coming back around to Sagittarius 281. Off we go. Back one. This is going to be interesting. 281, 26, 18. Point 2. And a few seconds back. January the 3rd, 2019, you had your second Saturn return. And wow, wow, wow. Tell me he's in Sagittarius. Yep. When you bring a planet back to its natal position in your second Saturn return, that is what I call restoring the years the locusts have eaten. Let me move the sun a couple days and see who all's there. I thought so. You have an eclipse here. You have an eclipse going on. I need to be at 281. Oh, I need to be on Saturn, 281. Let me pull this back. 281, 26. There we go. There we go. There's where we're supposed to be. When the sun and the moon are together, what you see is what you get. So, you brought Mercury back to its natal position. The sun back to its natal position. Actually, your moon is over here. So you have the sun and Mercury. This is beyond a well done, good and faithful servant chart. This is beyond that. To me, with Saturn, you pass or you fail. You either get a 0 or you get a 4.0. But this is what I call restoring the years the locusts have eaten. Mercury back in its natal position, 4.1. Sun back in its natal position, 4.2. Jupiter back in its natal position, 4.3. I think that's the highest grade average I've ever seen on somebody. And I tell you, unexpected. That is phenomenal. That is truly phenomenal. You've done really, really well. But I'm going to pause to save some time on the video. Alright, well the first thing that pops out to me here is the fact your moon is no longer alone. It's not only not alone, it's there with Jupiter in the house of friendship. And this is a very, very magical place for the moon. This is where the Vedic, when the moon is right where it is, right here, is when the Vatican does all their rituals. So it's a very, very magical place on the fixed cross. So you've got your desires and the way other people see you or what you show them. You're the hero. This is the hero's journey in the house of friendship. Is any of this retrograde? No. So Venus in her own house at the top of the ladder. Your heart went all the way to the top. That's that purified, exalted heart. Reminds me of Viracocha. If you've never seen Secrets of the Super Gods by Maurice Cottrell, go watch that on YouTube. Write that down. It's called Secrets of the Super Gods. Maurice, M-A-U-R-I-C-E, Cottrell, C-O-T-T-R-E-L-L. Excellent freaking position for Venus. Mars. This is the only problem I see. Is you can be a little emotionally unstable. There's that Mars that we've been experiencing right now with that Mars in Pisces. That emotionally unstable. Uranus and Aries. No, that's not Uranus. There's Uranus. Uranus and Pisces, good. Don't like Uranus and Aries for you right now in this. So great positioning for Uranus as well. Getting ready to leave that sign. As a matter of fact, it affected you then because you had Uranus. No, you had Uranus in fixed fire. So you were good to go there. That's groupthink. So your conscious mind at this time was in a bit of groupthink, deciding what group you belong to, I guess. Because you definitely did what Saturn asked you to do. You became that shaman. You became that enlightened philosopher. You freaking did your homework. That is fabulous. Let's do our pillars. Again, I'll just do it like I did the first time and put the sun on the sun pillar. And we'll put the moon on the moon pillar. How about that? And we've got our ladder and our floor. Remember, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Okay, I wrote all these down in my pause so I didn't have to. You can't move the chart around when you're drawing on it. So, you have Mars, Pluto, you have Mercury, Pluto, the Sun, and Saturn all right here. But because this is a Saturn return, this does not count as being in severity. It's just your placement of they're all enlightened. Your subconscious mind is enlightened. You are enlightened. Your speech is enlightened. And Saturn just always remains where he is. You have the moon and Venus in Scorpio right here. I mean Jupiter and the moon here. Venus at the top over here. You have Venus all the way at the top now. So your Jupiter and the way other people see you are in mercy now. You've got Uranus and Mars here in Pisces, mercy. And you have, what did I miss? Okay, Neptune and Aquarius here. You got Neptune and Aquarius. That might be Capricorn. I might need to check that, but I think that's Aquarius. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. That's all of them. So your heart and your imagination hit the ladder to the top. But you got restoring the years the locusts have eaten over here. So whatever it is you missed out on in your childhood, all that's restored to you. All of it. All of it. All that self-martyr, all that all of it. You got bonus. You got the 4.3. Now, like I said, your lesson is over and your purpose is over and you graduated. But your life is not over. Yep, Aquarius conjunct Fomalhaut. Follow the lamb wherever he goes. Now's the time for you to learn astrology and alchemy, which is exactly what you're doing on my channel. So you're already doing what you were asked to do. Is he retrograde? Our numbers are 52461. No retrograde. So learn astrology, learn alchemy. If you haven't gotten one of the flash drives, I'll put the links below this video and you can request one from wherever you're at, or you can go on Gina and Darryl's cloud link and just download it for yourself. In there you're going to find a lot of alchemy books. There's over 5,000 books in there. But remember, when going through those, to always keep on those alchemical ears and astrological eyes, knowing that all of that information is just as encoded as the Bible is. And keep that in mind to learn this information. But Fomalhaut is the true star of Bethlehem. It's the lamb. It's the king. It's Thalem. It's the thalamus. The only thing you've got left to do to illuminate your mind right here is to open your pineal gland. That's it. Learn alchemy and astrology. You aced the rest of it, and I'm so happy about that moon and your Venus. Those two alone, because you're no longer alone, and you're in the house of your friends now. And you do get help from your friends, Jupiter. And that's a restoring the years the locusts have eaten. This might be a time in your life that you go back and connect with childhood friends. Jupiter back in its natal position, restoring the years the locusts have eaten. Literally giving you your heart's desire. Who wouldn't want that? The only bad thing is, yeah, you've got some sadness and emotional instability to you. But it is in the house of mercy. So you've got that going for you. Alright, wow, this chart's only took an hour. You didn't have a bunch of retrogrades. Let me pull us back to the beginning. And I did pause a lot, so I didn't have to take up so much time on the video. And you have a lot of Capricorn show up in your chart later. So you probably do feel that Capricorn energy. But you don't have to bear that cardinal cross. It's not yours. You are double-crossed. You are the sage of tarot. You are the shaman. You're the healer. You're the philosopher. That philosopher's stone. Now we need to be at 1712 here. Alright, let's do your magic circle. So your magic circle is fire. Its color is yellow or gold. What it is it looks like a Mercedes symbol. It's a circle cut into 3 pieces of pie. But Mercedes is silver, yours is gold. In the first piece of pie, you have a symbol of the sun, a symbol of Mercury, and a symbol of Saturn. In the second piece of pie, you have a symbol of Leo with a symbol of Pluto retrograde and a symbol of Uranus retrograde. And in the third piece of pie, you have a symbol of Aries. Now for your cross. You do it this way. On your cross, your axis bar up and down is masculine, and your cross bar is feminine. So at the top, its color is yellow or gold. So you have the yellow hair or the golden hat, the crown, right? The golden crown. And you have a symbol of Sagittarius, a symbol of the sun, a symbol of Mercury, and a symbol of Saturn. In your left hand is feminine its color is black, and you have a symbol of Virgo. So in your left hand, you have on the black glove. You have the crown on your head and the black glove on your left hand. And at your feet is a symbol of Gemini. It's masculine, its color is red, and you have a symbol of the moon. So you have the moon under your feet, and you have on the red shoes, like the Pope wears the red shoes. And in your right hand, it's feminine, and its color is white, and you have a symbol of Pisces. So you have on the golden crown, the white glove on your right hand, the black glove on your left hand, and the red shoes. Remember, Dorothy had the red shoes. There's no place like home. The red shoes can take you there. There's no place like your natal chart. You can always go there. Just click those heels together. All right, that is your full chart through 2 Saturn returns. If you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the comment section below. If I know the answer, I'll be glad to answer it. If I don't, we can put our heads together and try to find one. This video is unlisted. Only you and I have the link. You can share the link with whoever you like. I encourage you to download this video. You can put it on your channel. If you lose the link, I'll be glad to replace it for you at any time. Now, my channel is one strike away from getting taken down on community guidelines, so I encourage everybody to download their video and keep it in case mine does go down. Otherwise, I'm trying to avoid strikes so that I can always give you guys your links if you lose them. I'd like to thank you for your donation to my channel, and I hope this video has helped you as much as your donation has helped me, and I do appreciate your patience.